So hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I really didn't have like a video that I wanted to do. I just know that I had a video that I had to record just to stay like on time with these videos, because for one, I started back work and I noticed like my schedule can become very hectic. Because I am working like my own business, and plus I'm working like a 9 to 5. So it's kind of hard for me to like record between my work and all of that stuff. So I think what I'm gonna do is record on the weekends, and then when my schedule will change, the only days that I have available is Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, I think today I'm going to talk about probably me going into high school, because I haven't really did a school video in like a long time, feel like. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story time maybe. I don't really think it's a story time, but it's a story time of me going to high school. So if you guys don't know, I graduated high school in 2011. If you do the math, I did fail 6th grade because during 6th grade I had a lot going on. I was acting out. I wasn't really paying attention because it's really no excuse. I just had a lot going on within my family, and I was taking the burden for it, I guess you could say. So, and school was like my last priority, or really wasn't a priority anyway. It was just an option. So fast forward to ninth grade. When our ninth grade is like in a whole different school. You either gonna have like the same people you went to 6th grade with, or not. So the only thing that I really hated about going from one school to another, because I went to school in a county school and not a city school. So when I switched from 6th grade to 7th grade, it's like I had to start all over. So I had to build like my rap sheet up. I had to make new friends. I had to like just have a clear slate. So it was kind of hard for me to adjust, because when you're going from a county school to a city school, you have to think about some of the consequences that you do. When I was in 6th grade, that's when I got in my first fight, and they just called my parents, and whatever my parents say, they get it okay to give me a paddling or something like that. When we was in 6th grade, we used to get paddlings, but now they send you home for 3 or 4 days depending on what you do. Like, bro, what was them 3 or 4 days when I used to get in trouble all the time? So when I used to go to school, we used to get paddlings, and it depends on the teacher, because if you really get a teacher that really actually care about their students, they're not paddling you just to paddle you. They're paddling you because they either gave you multiple chances, or they know like, hey, the only way that I'm gonna get this drilled into you is to give you a whooping. Like, that's what your parents do at home. So moving along, when I got to 7th grade, that's when I met like majority of my friends. Some of those I'm still friends with, some of them I'm not. And that's just for my personal reasons. So when I got to 8th grade, that's when we had to go to another high school that was like right next door to the junior high. So in junior high is 7th and 8th, and then yeah, it's 7th and 8th. And then when you leave junior high, you go to regular high school, which is from 9th to 12th. And I'm gonna do a time frame for you guys, because yeah, that's the only way I can like talk about the things that happened when I was in high school. So between 8th and 9th grade, that's when I first started getting introduced to the streets, okay? And that's when, at that time, I wasn't really staying with my parents. I was staying with my godparents, and sometimes I'd go stay with my best friend mom. So I wasn't really at home like that. So like I told you, my dad, he was in the streets heavy. He was part of a certain gang. So so that's when I first got introduced to the whole street life. So yeah. So when I was in high school, when I was in 7th, 8th and 9th grade, school wasn't my biggest interest, because when I first did my first drug drop, I was intrigued. I was like, okay, this is something that I feel like I can make a career out of. Stupid me, okay? Don't talk about me, okay? I thought in my head like, oh, this is a great career. And that's when I ran up on my first $1,000 real quick within less than 2 hours. So I'm like, okay, this is a good career for me. Girl, what was you thinking? So, 19th grade, this is when I met my right hand. This is the person who I did a lot of drug runs with. We got in a lot of trouble, like a lot of trouble. And to this day, she would tell you that we still will have each other back, like we still doing runs. I remember once upon a time we was going to class, and we was in 9th grade. It was like at the end, almost at the end of the year. We had like 1 more month and we'll be like going into 10th grade. So they had it like, it was like 2 weeks before a student had brought a gun to the school, and they really like took it to heart. Which I'm not saying is not a good thing to take it serious, but I feel like if you have a lot of threats at your school, like we did, it's like, okay, you can't really tell what's true, what's not true. So every time we got a threat, we either went to the gym, or we went to the football field, or we sat on buses, or it was just crazy. It was just like, yeah, it was crazy. Or they just let us go home. And to me, I can't learn if you keep sending me home. But anyways, so I want to say 2 weeks after that had happened, they brought in these machines that were like, you walk through them, and like you have to sit there and they scan you and all that stuff, like they do at the airport, with the suitcases and stuff. Like they put your suitcase through the little security monitor thing, and they can tell what's in your suitcase. That's what they did, but it was a body search. So, and I'm thinking in my head, this cannot be legal. Like, really? Why? So this day, me and my right hand thought it was a good idea to make a drop during school. Now, I know some of you are looking at me like, girl, what were you thinking? And honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I just knew, like, I was making a lot of money. And, um, and yeah, so money kind of drove my thoughts, drove my ideas, drove my mental mindset. Okay, so everything that I did, it was because of money. Now, so around this time, I was the type of person who, like, nobody comes in between me and my money. Okay, so my friend thought it was a great idea to, like, take the money and tell the dude to meet us at school, and then during lunchtime we would just come out to the vehicle and give him, you know, whatever he got. It was a great idea, so we thought. So by the time we had made it to, like, the door, everybody was saying, if you got something on you, you might want to put it back in your car or get rid of it, because they had security systems. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, like, okay, a security system, you just walk through it and nothing's going to happen. Because I never took a weapon to school with me, this time I didn't. So I didn't really think nothing of it. So we were still going into school. I really didn't know, like, what kind of security system it was until we got up on it. And it was kind of too late. So we still had to walk through the system or whatever. And then when we walked through the system at the time, we both had something on us. So they pulled us to the side. And we waited there for until school, the first class bell for it to start to ring. And then that's when they took us in the back office and they brought dogs and stuff. And because it was mostly dudes in there. And, you know, they can't check a female like that. So, my friend was just constantly talking. And to me, I'm like, stop doing it, because the more you talk, the more they're going to be, you know, more suspicious and stuff like that. So I'm telling her not to talk so much, just leave it alone, blah, blah, blah. So they found drugs on us. They didn't find that much because, well, it was a lot, but it wasn't enough to where they wanted to. They didn't need the public eye on the school like that, so they didn't call the police or nothing. The only thing they did was took the drugs. And I hated that because it was a lot behind it of what happened next. And they don't have anything to do with school, so I can't talk about that. But anywho, after that day, they kept the security monitors up for a long time. I want to say it was after graduation. So when I made it to 10th, 11th grade, this is when I had found out that I was pregnant, because this is around the same time that I was fooling with this boy, with the first boy. And I thought, like, we was going to be together. But it's like, I wasn't into him like that. But I'm like, okay, to make people happy that's around me. Because when I was younger, you being gay was shown on. Like, if you gay, oh my God, they coming after you. But, I don't know. I still stuck in between trying to make people happy, who I truly am, and who I really want to be with, who I'm. And I was just really stuck in between who I really am and what I really want. So at the time I was fooling with this boy, and that's when I found out I was pregnant. But at the time I was still partying, still drinking like a fish out of water. I was drinking liquor like it was water. So that's when I had a miscarriage. I was at school. And it's crazy because everybody thought it was my menstruation, but it wasn't. because nobody knew that I was pregnant. The only person who actually knew I was pregnant was my right hand, but she told me I was pregnant before I even knew I was pregnant, which is crazy to me. No, because her grandma told her that I was pregnant. And then that's when she told me that I was. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So then I did a test the same day she told me, and I was pregnant. So I had a miscarriage when I was in high school. I still think about would my life be different if the baby was still here? I don't know. I do still think about it. And that's probably that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not really forcing myself to like have another be in a rush to have a child, because if you guys don't know, I'ma just throw this out here. This had nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but I have had cervical cancer twice. So it's kind of difficult for me to like have a child without having that scientific help or that medical induced help. So it's like, okay, I'm just not in a rush to put my body through that, because I feel like my body been through enough. Like, just throw the whole body away and give me another one. But I don't know, but I do want to have a baby before I at least turn 40, and I'm 30, so you guys do the math. So when I did have a miscarriage, I did tell the guy, and he was kind of upset about it. He was kind of mad because I really didn't have a chance to tell him, because the same day I had the miscarriage was going to be the same day I told him. And and I found out I was pregnant like 2 days prior, so it was kind of, I should have told him when I found out, but it's like, okay, so after that, nothing too much really happened in 10th grade except for the whole drug thing. Now, when I went to 11th and 12th grade, I kind of buckled down, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to school. I always say I want to be a social worker, but something in the back of my head, I always wanted to be a nurse, like a registered nurse. Even when I was in elementary, I'm going to be a nurse. But then, like, always in the back of my head, like, you need to be a social worker. You love helping people, so that's what you need to be. So that's what I was trying to work on. And around 11th grade, I start interning with this company. This company is no longer in business because of the whole COVID thing. So and I guess they just never came back. I don't know. But anyways, I started interning with this company. My grades started improving a whole lot. I was on honor roll. I'm the type of person in school, I was considered a nerd, a geek, or whatever you want to call me. If I got a B, I was super mad at myself. Like, you could have did better. This time you need to do this. This time, it was a lot. So when I was in 11th grade, I did receive my first scholarship. And I didn't do like the early classes in college. I wish I had them. Now that I look back, I wish I had started when I was in high school. But anyways, it probably wasn't my time. So and I could say when you make it to like 11th and 12th grade, it's like your teachers are better than when you go to college. So like, let's say you have a test coming up. Your teacher gonna remind you Monday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, and then either Friday. She'll give you 15 to 20 minutes to study for it. But when you're in college, it's a whole different story. So it's like, when I had to go from high school to college, I had to train myself to study on my own. I still kept some of the study habits. I still use like index cards. I use like highlighters. And if you guys go back, like in my school videos, I always tell you guys that I use about 6 or 7 different colors, because that's the that was made it easy for me to study. So around this time, 11th grade, this is when I had kind of like settled down, because was 11th grade or 12th grade, one of them is when I had got shot at the club. So yeah, I think 11th grade is when me and my god brother, we had went to Atlanta, and I stayed in Atlanta for like 6 months. And within those 6 months, I was still taking my classes for 11th grade. So I graduated 11th grade, and I came back to Mississippi, and I took 12th grade. And at this time, I was staying with my parents, but I was still in the streets hard. And I tried to keep like my personal life, my career driven life apart. So I was like going to school during the week. Then on the weekends, I go stay with my godparents. So it was kind of back and forth until my godmom let it slip around my dad that I really wasn't with them all the time. I was with my goddad, and my goddad and my daddy, they in the same gang. So it's like, okay, he know like what I'm doing at this point. So it wasn't no sense hiding it. But he always told me, beat the sun home. Whatever you do in the streets, leave it in the streets, and don't come back to my house with something you didn't leave with. So I always took them three rules with me everywhere I go. So yeah, when I made it to 12th grade, I was still in the streets heavy, but I was still in school heavy too. So it was kind of like I was being pulled in different directions. And at this time, around 19th and 11th grade, I was still in the band. Girl, I was in the band. Then between 8th and 9th grade, I had signed up for volleyball. So it was like during the summer, it was volleyball. And then during like the school season, it was football. So football brings band. Band brings a lot of sunshine and heat and sweat and everything else. Okay, so yeah, so I did graduate high school, but this is what I want to tell you guys. I do want to say this: if this is your first time going to high school, pay attention. But what I will tell you not to pay attention to is the whole what they tell you, yeah, the whole just pay attention in class. When you go to college, it's more lenient. You don't really have to worry about things. People there to help you. Don't pay attention to that, okay? And I say that because listen to me closely. My first time of college, and I'm gonna have a whole video on that, but when I first went to college, I thought like, okay, you really don't have to bear down and study that much. You could be like more lenient on yourself. You ain't got to worry about all these tests. You ain't got to worry about all this studying. You get what I'm saying? But when I went to college, it's like they are lenient on you, but they tell you when the test is, and they give you a syllabus. So that's like them telling you twice, but they really just told you once. And when they do open up, well, I give it 3 times, because they give you a syllabus, then they go over the syllabus, and then they tell you whenever, like if your test is on a Wednesday, they're gonna tell you Monday, or they're gonna tell you Friday when your test gonna be the next week. And that's all you're gonna hear about it. You never gonna hear it again. But when you do make it to that classroom for that test on test day, it ain't no 10 or 15 minutes studying. You might can study when like they taking roll, and when they or when you waiting on the other people to get into the classroom for it to start. But after that, some teachers have you put your book bag at the front. Some of them tell you to put all your papers away. They don't want to see nothing out. So just be mindful when you in school. Find you a study habit that works for you, that is guaranteed to help you pass your test, and then you use that to help you through college, because that's what I did. My first semester was whack. But I will tell you guys, that first scholarship that I got in high school, I lost it, okay? Because my first semester of college, woo, child, woo, it was crazy. I didn't care about school anymore. The only thing I was worried about is playing sports, playing volleyball, of course, and that's it. So the first scholarship I got, well, I didn't lose it completely. I lost like the benefits of it. So yeah, it was crazy. So like the second first semester, I had to like pay for my own books. I had to pay for room and board. The only thing that I didn't have to pay for is tuition. So yeah. But anyways, pay attention in high school, and then when you get to college, it won't be so difficult on you. And you have to learn how to study. Because if you don't know how to study and you haven't had your rhythm of study, what's for sure gonna work, baby, when you get to college, it's gonna be a whole different story, okay? But anyways, that's my little story time / rant / what I did when I first went to high school, what happened to me. If you guys like more videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And honestly, I'm still working on my intro. I get the pictures I want in my intro, but I can't never really find some good music, so yeah, it's kind of difficult. But anyways, I have to hurry up in this video because I have like 2 meetings that I set for myself today, that I have to be like the lead talking, which I hate I did that, but whatever. I'm finna washing, and then I'm gonna edit this video. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, all of those good things. And yeah, so y'all have a great day, a great night whenever you're watching this, and I will surely see you guys in my next video. Bye.